Good morning. Welcome to the Coaches Portal, podcast one officially. Got a guest here, Ronnie Gatrey, turning into a really great friend. So I want to introduce him. But before that, a little bit about the Coaches Portal, really just bringing people from all different walks of life together to hear their lens and then why they do what they do and then how to actually implement that in the day-to-day. One of the biggest influences in my life has always been coaches. And so how do we actually coach one another in our different environments and give something to each other that we can practically implement in our lives to make us closer to God, closer to our families, closer to people, and be able to empathize with one another and figure it out. So little short story about Ronnie, then I'm going to let him kind of introduce himself. But, this is a brother that's helped me launch this podcast. And so thank you again for that. Just thankful for you being on this morning. So Ronnie, I'd love, you got 2 or 3 minutes. I'll give you 3 because my man Ronnie me and him love to dialogue and talk. So I put him on the 3-minute timer.
I'm introverted, so it's good now. Man, thanks for having me on, Nick. I really appreciate it. Again, Ronnie Gatrey. A little bit about me, proud husband of almost 11 years at the time of this recording, proud father of 2 young men, Noah and Abraham. So I like to play golf when I got time. We're just getting straight to it. I don't have as much time as I used to back in the day, or used to pre-kids, I should say. You remember them days.
Bruh, 4 kids.
Oh,
I ain't no joke.
So I like to play golf. One of the things I've gotten into, just being honest, the past 3 or 4 years is finding the value in serving the needs of my family on a daily basis. And I'm not bragging by any means, because I'm at a point in my life now to where I take joy. I take joy. I receive a lot of joy from doing it. So on a given night, you could see me playing with the boys in the backyard, cooking dinner, bathing the boys, and my wife and I doing a little devotional before they go to bed. So, but it's a wind down part of the day, but I really love it just because I'm a family oriented guy. Love being a father. Love being put in a position to serve. So that's all I'm going to say, Nick. That was tough to boil down to 2 minutes, man. I didn't even tell about my hair.
Actually, bro, man, that's awesome. What are you an only child? How many brothers still?
I'm one of 3.
One of 3.
Check this out, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I've got a sister that's 13 months older, and I got a sister that's 13 years younger. Do the math on that, Nick.
13. Wow,
Lucky number, man.
That's it, brother. That's it. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Irondale on the east side. Yeah.
How long were you there for?
Jeez, let's see. Man, I was born in Opelika, and my dad ended up moving here for a job when I was 3 or 4. I want to say 4. And so that's when we moved to Irondale, and I've been there ever since. So what's that? Dang, Nick, you gonna get my age out? That's like 34 years, bro.
34. Wow. Irondale is awesome, though, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Love the Irondale.
Man. And what do you do now?
Man, I don't know what you call me, Nick. I don't know what my job title is, but for my professional peers, they kind of see me as a marketing coach. And so I'm kind of rooted in the real estate industry, and I'm blessed to have the opportunity to work one-on-one with real estate professionals, helping them really find their brand identity, help them to build it, and help them to maximize on any reach that they may get, hopefully driving business to their brand. So it's really a blessing of an opportunity, and I'm very fortunate to be placed in that situation.
Yeah. How do you do that if you're an introvert?
I don't know, dude. This is talking in this microphone right now is a struggle.
Yeah.
Good question, though.
Man. So that's also, pretty much you're coaching people on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
And man, what do you feel? Why that? Have you always been a coach, or I don't know.
That's a good question, man. So Nick, check this out. We're gonna peel back the layers on that. I would say, God, this had to be at least 13, 14 years ago. My now wife and I were dating, and this is gonna make sense. I'm gonna pull it back in, I promise. We were dating at the time, and we got approached with the opportunity to teach a vacation Bible school class at church. And it was for 4-year-olds. So my wife, who was just really into kids, me at the time, I wasn't so much. I mean, I wasn't against them, but I wasn't like gravitating to those opportunities. Being honest, I was trying to impress her. We were, you know how it is when you're dating. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so my wife, my girlfriend at the time, wife now, was telling me that I mean, from the first day, she's like, you got to give these kids gravitate towards you. And I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Wait till tomorrow night. It'll be a total cluster. And just ended up being me coming in there and just like, I brought a lot of energy, and I was trying to make a lot of these lessons fun. And towards the end of Vacation Bible School that year, I had so many parents of these kids coming to me asking, what are you teaching next year? Are you doing Bible study? Are you doing Sunday school? And I'm like, me? I was like, I didn't do anything. My wife did all the work, or girlfriend at the time. Yeah. My wife did all the work, like I was just here just to have the fun. And just hearing about how kids would take certain principles home, and they'll say, hey, Mr. Ronnie did this, Mr. Ryan did that. It started to plant a seed. And I remember my wife asking me, have you thought about teaching or at least coaching? And I was like, no. At the time, I was in an IT career, if you could believe that or not. And I was like, no, IT's for me. I'm pretty good at that. Let me just handle that. I'm not worried about that. So throughout the years, I got placed in situations to where, and I eventually started coaching youth basketball. And even in interpersonal relationships, I started noticing more like people were comfortable opening up to me, and people were comfortable hearing what I had to say, not coming from a place of judgment or anything. And just realized like, I've really been in this coaching spectrum for longer than I want to realize it. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm starting to really own the fact that there are skills there is a gift there, and I can be stubborn at times, but I'm slowly but certainly leaning into that, and I'm enjoying it so far. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. That was like 10,000 words right there.
It was awesome, man. Well, you said some things that I think are like really powerful and so simple. I don't know. You were talking about the VBS, the Vacation Bible School, and even like coaching kids and basketball. How much time you get with them, 4 to 5 days a week for multiple hours, and they're like, Coach Ronnie taught me this today. There are certain principles. Like, what do you feel watching your boys now and being able to coach them, and how many different kids they've come in contact with, how many different families you've come in contact with just through coaching? So, I mean, you want to guess like a number there? Like how many different?
Jeez. You mean across the spectrum, across any coaching arena I've been in?
Yeah.
Whether it be like sports or professional?
Yeah.
What, 50 to 70 maybe? That may be like a soft estimate. So I don't know.
50 to 70.
Yeah.
So looking back on it, 3 things. What are the 3 most basic principles that if you had a kid, 50 to 70 kids, what they would either say about you or you tried to develop? Like, it's like you get 3 things that, I heard this the other day, maybe it was my close friend. He was like, if your kids leave you after 18 years, they're going to go off. And they're like, my dad taught me these 3 things. I know about Ronnie, these 3 things. What are you trying to give? You
mean my boys, or you mean just people that I've coached? Because Nick, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's possible for me to coach my oldest son. It's possible. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Hey, there is every now and then, like 101 day out of 180, they'll say something and be like, "You're not operating with integrity," and I'm like, "Oh my, you hurt." Lord, thank you. Oh, they are listening. Wow. So, yeah.
Well,
on that one.
I'll exempt my sons from this if that's okay.
Yes.
But if I had to guess, number one would be fun, and I'll take that from the professional realm even to the athletics or youth athletics in this particular case. But I don't know. You know this about me, Nick. Like, you get me in front of people or get me around people, I'm on fire. Yeah. And I think people feed off that. So I think that translates into coaching, especially in the professional realm, because part of marketing yourself, whether it be in real estate or in any type of business, you got to really open up a little bit. Yeah. You got to show the world a little bit about you. And a lot of people are gun shy about that. Yeah. But if you have a conduit or some type of vehicle to help comfort you into doing that, I think you can really let your light shine. And I feel like, I don't toot my own horn, but I feel like I've been positioned to be able to be that for people, if that makes sense.
It does. And honestly, we can take the coaching context of like kids and sports, and then we grow up too fast. And we actually forget how to play and have fun. Yeah. So for you to actually say fun, not only for your kids, and I mean, I've been able to coach all over from the college level to the 6 and under T-ball. Yeah. We lose the ability to have fun at some point. And that's why kids stop playing, is because unfortunately coaching is probably the most powerful and influential. And it's also one of the most abusive can be. And so I think we forget that if you're giving a message to a kid that puts them down and they lose that ability to play and to have fun, that's why they begin to hate the game. Yeah. And so, but then I just look at now, even myself, I think playing is still the hardest thing to do for me, because everyone's like, what are people going to think? He doesn't take himself seriously. You got to present yourself well, and you do have to present yourself well. But at the end of the day, we have lost the ability to play and the ability to have fun. Jesus say, have faith like a child, right? Become a child again. Yeah. And we actually don't do that. Right. We grow up. Yeah. We tell our kids to grow up
sooner than they really should. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know that was my little tangent, was good. But so number one, fun.
Number two, I'd have to say ability to listen. And glory to God, number one, for this. But glory to God, number two, for sending my wife to really help me to shape this, because I've not always been a great listener through our own struggles in marriage or growth in marriage. I've had to learn how to really intently listen. And I credit my wife for that, because I've seen my relationships enhance since she's gone through the fire of dealing with stubborn, bullheaded, knowing everything Ronnie, and really being patient with me and subtly teaching me the inner mechanics of effective listening. So that's something I hear on both ends, again, professional and youth athletics. And it's like, geez, do I really listen that well? I mean, thank you, number one, but okay, great. If that makes you feel better, I will listen. So, yeah.
Listen well. That's what I'm trying to talk to my boys about right now is, are you listening well? Gotcha. The good Lord gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Think about it. But the first...
you said something there, too.
Bro, I mean, 2 ears, 1 mouth. It's just, hey, all of us, let's try to whoever's listening on this podcast, let's just try to listen a little bit more. One of the biggest things that I do with all of my kids is that I'm a very soft-spoken person. And I tell them my 6-year-olds to 10-year-olds to college athletes, the same thing is, I will not get over this voice. And so you are responsible for what comes out of my mouth. And 6-year-old, if you don't, you got burpees. But college athlete, same thing. Burpees is, I will deliver at this level, but I will not go over this level. And so that's something that usually works well, but the first couple practices are usually burpee filled, but it is that, hey, Coach Nick's talking, we can't talk, because they need to listen at this level. Right. So it's been a way to try to implement like this, I don't want to say don't yell as a coach, but it is, hey, we're communicating. When you speak, I listen. When I speak, you listen. But we're going to speak at this level back and forth and learn how to dialogue and listen well. So was really cool that you were just saying, listening.
Yeah. So you know something interesting about that? I am so opposite of you because I got to show you some footage, but I yell a lot when I coach, but it's more of an encouraging yell. And I had so many parents after this basketball season. I coached first grade basketball in my son's school, but after this particular season, just share with me, you know. And Coach G was my name, so like, Coach G, like, we could hear you coming before we even got in the gym, but we never heard anything bad come out of your mouth. It was always encouragement, you know. And so I'm thankful because I was able to leverage that that, I guess, trait of yelling, but reshaping it for good. Yeah. You know, so anyway, well, but deep down, I want to be like you.
No. Well, there's a difference between like demeaning someone and yelling over them, at them, like, I am above you.
Right.
And then there is like this other type of encouragement, and there is this type of actually intensity. If you ever around Coach Miles, which is one of my closest friends, that dude is level 15 on all the time, yelling. I mean, I actually want to run through this wall back and forth and just be like, just yell at me. Yeah. You know, you got those coaches that yell at you. You're like, yes. And then you got those coaches that if they ever yell at you, you're like, oh. You know? Right. But it's been a journey. I've got some, if we have some college athletes that, or even high school, that are listening to this podcast, they'd be like, Coach Nick, you yelled at me so many times, man. I'll be like, yeah, you're right. But I do try to communicate on this level first.
Gotcha.
So, so we got fun, listen well, and
I guess number 2 kind of flows into number 3, and I'll just call it positive energy. You know, I'm thinking back to the professional realm. I was meeting with this lady recently, real estate agent, who had seen some of the growth in some of our other team members, and a lot of them, you were like, hey, you need to go meet with Ronnie, you know, because I don't know what Ronnie did, but whatever. So she meets with me, and she had so many barriers to, you know, because I sat and I listened. You know, I was like, let's talk. Let me hear about what you want to do. So she gave me everything. And I was like, okay, well, have you thought about this? Well, no, I can't do that. Oh, okay. Well, have you thought about that? Oh, well, no, I can't do that. Oh, okay, well, let's do this. Well, no, I can't do that. And it was I mean, I can't, negative. And so I took all those negatives that she gave me and I flipped it. And I said, well, what if you did? What's the worst that can happen? You may get some more business. I mean, you're not going to lose any business, you know? Yes. So why not try it? You know, and I think that positive energy kind of radiates. And once that person decides, okay, I want to take some of this and I want to repurpose some of that positive energy that Ronnie's given off, and I want to try something. It is just like, it is the best experience for me. And I'm sorry, I got stories for years, but I think back. Again, I coached first grade basketball, my son's school. There's this kid on our team, Nick, and I may cry when I share this because it's such an emotional story for me. But he's the shortest kid on our team. He's had an insane growth spurt this summer, though. But anyway, shortest kid in our team. Yeah, I mean, it's first time ever touching a basketball, right? So we're in practice. We're just trying to build his confidence. Yeah, man. Yeah, you got this, dude. You were about to dominate, you know. So I'll never forget. It was second to last game of the season. This particular game was in hand. We were up by a bunch. I put him in there. I was like, dude. I was like, listen, you're about to score a basket. I know it. I said I could feel it. I never told him that before. And long story short, he kind of gets in a situation that was really weird. In terms of like offense or whatever, and it was just him and the goal, nobody else. And dude, he threw that thing up, nothing but net. Nick, when I tell you, I cannot do a cartwheel or a backflip, but I wanted to so bad. But I just went bananas in a good way.
Did you go out there and grab him on the court?
Yeah, I wanted to. I wanted to just like, give me a tech, I don't care. I'm going to run and grab this kid and just hoist him up or whatever. But the look he gave me after he made it was kind of that comfort. And this is a 6-year-old, you know? The look he gave me after he made it was just kind of like, Coach, you told me this was going to happen.
Yep.
his face lit up, and I couldn't wait to the next dead ball, because when he got back, I just gave him the biggest hug ever, and I was like, dude, I told you, you got this. And from that point on, his confidence was through the roof, man. You know, and it's just that transition, Nick. I can't get enough of it.
Yes.
You know? So anyway,
come alive, man. That's incredible.
Look at me now.
Well, it's jacked, man. It gets you jacked up. It's like how many times we worked on that shot and missed it. And then in the game, when it comes, it's like, even though the process of like all these times of failing, but that process of, wow, I know what to do. I'm going to throw it up there, and it goes in, and then go, wow,
right.
It happened. You know, so many times I love hitting, love working with hitters in baseball. One of the biggest things and issues with hitting is negative thoughts. Is you have all of these environments around you. You have the game, you have competing, you have the other team. Who are you playing? Who's the pitcher on the mound? What's mom and dad saying in the stands? What's coach saying? This person's yelling, the other team's yelling, this, all these different things. And then you're like, there's 2 strikes, don't strike out. Wait, hold on. When do I step? Wait, I need to breathe. I need to do my batting gloves. And so all this to say is one of the biggest things we work on with the hitters is every single time you step into the box, you take a deep breath and you go to one last thought. And the last thought is what you implement every day when you're in the cage. It goes to a drill that you just feel extremely confident in, that every time you go to that drill, you hit just bombs, bomb, 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 bomb. So you go on the field and you have all that stuff going on. You take deep breath, last thought that's positive, and then confidence. And so many times we get so overwhelmed by all the circumstances and environments and things that we can't control. And if we would just say, you know what, breath, it's the thought, one step, and take it. So that's a really awesome story. I was going to ask too, why do you feel that negative thought is probably when you're working with your clients or just people, do you feel like that's the biggest issue?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And Nick, you know what's crazy about it? I can relate to it. Mm-hmm. You know, struggle with low self-esteem majority of my life, you know, still kind of go through my bouts with it now, for being honest about it. But I think that gives me a level of relatability. And I know I know it doesn't work for everyone. I get it. But what worked for me personally was just the whole question of a what if, or why not, yes, or what's the worst that can happen? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And if you're honest with yourself and you work through that, you'll figure out, okay, yes, if I develop this marketing piece with Ronnie, no one's going to die, you know, which is great, you know, yes, and it's not going to have a negative impact on my business. It's not. So that to answer your question, yeah, it's internal. I lean a lot on relatability to help people get through that, mm-hmm, when I'm in that situation, for sure.
Yes, ma'am, that's awesome. Do you feel? I was gonna. Yeah, one of the thoughts was thinking how do you help people be consistent over time? Faithfulness over time, I think, builds. I mean, it speaks to your life. You know, like, if you can be faithful in something over time, every day, like, how do you just help people to be faithful in small things over time? Or do you even think in that way?
No, that's a really good question. You know, and the first thing comes to mind is the kid I was telling you about in our team. You know, there's no telling how many, and he made a few shots in practice, but overwhelmingly he missed way more shots than he made, just like anybody, right? But I guess just me being consistent as well with them in a positive light. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And just re-encouraging, you got this. No, you are great. No, you are going to be a great basketball player. No, you are a contributor to this team. I just think that, you know, because a 6-year-old kid can put a shot up and miss it, and who knows what kind of thoughts enter their head. So you got to be there, you got to be present, and you got to be consistent with the positivity. When you miss, okay, man, hey, go shoot another one. You're gonna make this one. Oh, man, shoot another one. You're gonna make this one. You know what I'm saying? So
can't be scared to fail.
No,
so many people
that was a good question, Nick.
To fail, bro. What about? I got 2 more questions.
Okay,
we'll wrapping up. But how do you feel like your story and background, like growing up Irondale, I don't know family situation, but just more getting to this point, like break that journey down. Was it like father was like an encourager, or was it mom, or what kind of, where did you get that? Who gave this gift to you?
Gotcha. So, and my mom was going to kill me, but growing up, Nick, I'll be honest, my older sister, she got all the attention. Right. I was, for the majority of my childhood, it was just us two because, we had my little sister who came way after the fact. But the spotlight was on her. She got a lot of the shine. I just kind of faded to black, and I kind of did my thing. That made me, brace yourself, Nick, that made me a quiet kid. I didn't say much. You couldn't get anything. Nobody believes that. You couldn't get anything out of me. But I'm gonna bring it back to church. It was around, I want to say early high school, around 9th grade. We got a new youth minister. I hope she doesn't mind me saying her name, Reverend April Wells. She'll forever be in my heart. She's still living, but she was the one that came to me and she told me, she said, "You've got the courage of a lion." This was like on our first introduction, and I was just kind of like, "You must be in here with somebody else because I know you're not telling me that." And she started putting all these positive things into me, faith based.
You were 9?
No, this was I was in ninth grade. Yeah. But still in my shell, still not want to really talk to anybody, believe it or not. And she started telling me all these things about me. And then, of course, I rebel. No, not me. You're talking about somebody else. Well, a few months after that, Nick, she put me on the pulpit in our youth church. And she prepared me for a sermon. She prepared me and everything, but I just remember being scared out of my mind. But I just kind of went up there and did my thing, and a fire was lit, Nick. I'll never forget it. And I was like, whoa, I can do this. Like all it took was somebody, grabbing me by the horns and throwing some positive stuff in. And so, I think about that. I know how pivotal and impactful that was for me. And I can see over years as I matured and kind of got comfortable in my own skin and start to really embrace me. Like, why wouldn't I not want to speak the same things into other people who may have a similar track record of my maturation, if you will? Yeah. So I would have to say it was her. Yeah. And I'm not taking anything away from my parents. Don't get me wrong. But it was just a situation. And as I matured, I've been able to come back, reconnect with like I disconnected, but really tell the story of my parents. So like, okay, this is how I progressed into, who I am now. So,
man,
yeah.
That's powerful, bro.
Thanks.
I was thinking, thanks for sharing that. That's incredible.
Of course.
So, golly, well, just wrapping up, I don't know, it's like, I feel like we can wrap this up in 1 minute of this time, which is really cool. We have to play, we have to have fun, we have to bring that in this world that's just saying grow up, be this, be professional, which is all great stuff. But at the end of the day, we have to have fun.
Yes,
we have to play, and second, we have to listen well. The Lord gave us 2 ears.
What'd you say, Nick?
2 ears, and 1 mouth. Okay, and bring that positive energy. It's not. Yes, there is way, of course, out there over the top can be, kind of fake, but that's not what we're talking about here. Right. We are saying, hey, what if? Have you tried it?
Yeah.
I'll do it with you. Don't be afraid to fail. So many people are afraid to fail, and whether they fear they're going to get left or what's going to happen. But it's like, hey, I'm not leaving. If we fail, we'll put up the next shot. We'll shoot our shot. That's all. Shoot your shot. Andy Minio's got a shot out there, or a thing out there. And then the courage of a lion, man, is that I think in the 9th grade, someone spoke something over you, a coach in your life, someone that was like, hey, I see this in you. And to have that, I feel like God speaks that into us all the time. But sometimes he, once again, uses people around us to speak that into us. And now we get to go give it to others.
Absolutely.
So, Ronnie, thanks so much for being on the podcast today.
Man,
the
I
Coaches
enjoyed
Portal.
This. Can I come back and tell stories about first grade basketball?
Yes, all the time. First grade basketball. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in to first episode of the Coaches Portal. And yeah, be filled today. Give someone something that they can take with them. Thanks.